There has to be some common sense.
Yes, sir. They have the car stopped at 10th and Ranch, Michael Byler.
We still don't know who pulled the trigger.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, Bill Cannon, retired 27-year veteran of the NYPD, retired as a sergeant. And with me today, straight out of Brooklyn, retired NYPD detective, Phil Grimaldi. How you doing today, Phil?
I'm doing pretty good, Billy. How about you?
All right, man. I rode solo for yesterday anyway. I just did my stroll through the park. People like that. You know, they like to see the Hudson River and the sun out and everything. But I also covered a little bit of Gabby Petito and what's going on with the civil lawsuits with that case. I could have used you in that, but not a lot of new stuff going on, just some legal stuff. And this case right now is pretty interesting. And it's, you know, a lot of it, I think you and I discussed it a couple of days ago. A lot of it has to do, I think they need to focus more on the investigation. Not more. They still, of course, have to focus on the search, but they really need to focus on the investigation. Because as we said, we're using Italian words yesterday, there's something fugazi here. And I don't like it, you know. And I'm this guy, Robert Hurst, who is their, I call him the minister of misinformation. He's supposedly the information, like the deputy commissioner of public information guy. But he's giving out information that I find to be incredible. And unless he knows something that we don't know. But this is 7 days for this desperado out there who likes to kill people with pickaxes, you know, scary. And then when they have nothing on it, and all they keep talking about is, we have 300 law enforcement officers, 22 horses, 7 helicopters, and a puppy, you know, like searching for this guy. You're like, so what? Did you catch this guy yet? And I want to hear about the investigation because this is fugazi. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Billy, there's a lot of red flags here that you and I talked about over the last couple of episodes we did regarding Gonzalo Lopez. But if he's still in the area, it's 7 days now. I don't know that the chances of him being in the area without assistance, just, escapes from a bus, runs into a field, and he's going to survive 7 days. Very highly unlikely, especially with the warm temperatures and all the stuff that we talked about previously. But you're making a great point that there needs to be a parallel investigation, so to speak, where they find out what his accomplices were, who helped him. He obviously didn't, break out of this bus on his own. Somebody supplied him with the tool. He got the tool from somewhere that he cut through the gate, or was the gate cut previously in that the cage in the bus. There's just so many things that need to be looked at, and I don't know. They seem very certain, based on what they're putting out, that he's still in that area. How is he surviving? What is he eating? What is he drinking? What shelter does he have? Those are the questions I think, is there signs of him in that area that maybe, they did find some type of, abandoned home broken into and looked like it had been used or whatever. So maybe there is stuff that we're not able to be privy to that they're focusing in on, but just doesn't seem likely to me at this point.
It's they're insisting that he's confined to a 5-mile area, like a 5-mile block. And what if he's out there? What if he's outside of that 5-mile block, which they have sealed off? And what if he got in a car? Like they're not counting on any of that. I'm going to play a little bit of Robert Hurst, who I call the minister of disinformation. And we're going to see what he has, because there's really not a great deal of new information that they're telling us. He repeats a lot of the same stuff, but let's hear what he has to say.
Information officer from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I want to update you on the search for escaped inmate Gonzalo Lopez. This is the most recent photographs that we have of him from last Thursday when he was getting onto the bus at the Hughes unit in Gatesville. This is now available on our social media sites for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. It's also been sent out to all the media in this area. So if anybody sees somebody that looks like this man, please contact your local law enforcement agency. Let them know.
Yeah, if someone sees a guy wearing a white suit with some shackles hanging from his belt, that's the guy we're looking for. You know, brilliant.
Please keep an eye out for him. $50,000 reward if anybody has information leading to his arrest and conviction. So again, this is from last Thursday. These are the most recent. The uniform that he's wearing, the white uniform, it was kind of a starched uniform. So if he's still in that white uniform, it's probably gotten pretty torn up by now. So,
you know, Phil, is he telling us anything that we don't know? I mean, this guy is like repeating the obvious. Yeah, he's been in the field for 7 days, so you say. He's wearing white. It was starchy. Now it's probably going to be soiled.
So we still think he is in this area. We have no reason to believe that he is not in this area. This is in western Leon County, just west of Centerville, Texas. So again, we want to put this photograph out there. If anybody sees him, please call your local law enforcement agency, contact the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, call Crime Stoppers, anybody that would Okay, any questions?
Do you mind telling us too, we were asking a while back if there's maybe cameras that caught the escape, or y'all still reviewing if the prison bus actually had any images of
The bus
it?
does not have any images. The bus does not have a security camera on it, but these photographs were shot as he was getting onto the bus at the Hughes unit. So these are the most recent photographs that we have.
You mentioned the evidence indicates that he's still in the area. Just for residents now, this afternoon being day 7 of the search, just any advice for residents living in that immediate area? I know they're ready for life to hopefully get back to normal. This guy get caught, obviously.
Remain vigilant, remain alert, keep an eye out for anything that might be suspicious on your property. Please don't hesitate to contact the local law enforcement agency if you see or hear anything that is out of place on your property. Please.
If you see anyone in a white suit running across a field, that could be him. I mean, come on.
We want to get him in custody. So that's what I can tell you right now.
Can you confirm if anything turned up yesterday in the search? Our sister station, KSRU, had reported that some sort of evidence might have been found yesterday by Lopez. Anything you can say on that?
If there was anything of significance, I'd let you know. I have not been notified of anything of significance.
One other thing that has come up, if you can just maybe explain in general terms for layman folks and just the general viewers, some of the folks from law enforcement have said that the OIG's office will be part of this, looking at everything. Can you just kind of tell us a little bit what role they play and what the Office of Inspector General will do in this type of situation?
They are involved in the search. They are involved in the investigation as to what happened. They are the ones that are helping out the Texas Department of Criminal Justice along with the Department of Public Safety.
You know, Phil, when I look at this and we talk about the investigation, if that was the NYPD, I think the 2 officers involved would be taken off of active duty, because it would just the fugaziness, and I know I'm overusing the word fugazi, but the fugaziness of their actions.
Did you watch Donnie Brasco last night?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just the words getting crazy, but just let me put it another way. The suspiciousness of their actions would entail an organization, at least like the NYPD, to modify them, take them off the road. And this investigation needs to go deeper. And I keep comparing it to Dannemora. And I remember a couple of days after that escape, the governor of New York State, Andrew Cuomo, who was a former Manhattan district attorney, starts praising the escapees like this is right out of TV. Hey, idiot, wait till the damn investigation happens. And he did, and he had egg all over his face because it turned out it was an inside job, which I believe this is going to turn out to be too.
Billy, it sounds like they're certain he's in the area. I think that's going to be based on the time factor, that from the time that he was last seen going into the area, into the woods or whatever it is, the bush, and they were able to cordon off an area thinking if he's on foot, not taking into account that he could have had an accomplice and pulled him out of there. I think they're focusing on that because he fled on foot and he went into that area and they cordoned it off, and they're continuing to do the search. Now, it must be a vast area they're talking about a 5 mile square area. Now with 7 days, it sounds like they could have, with 300 people, 300 law enforcement officers, whether they be on horseback with dogs and all the different, the helicopter, the heat imaging, all these different technologies. It sounds like they could have searched that area 3 or 4 times over already, and been able to say, yes, he was here, or he's not here, and don't forget, like I said, if he runs into the area, he has to seek, he can't be running 24 hours a day. He has to sleep at some point. He has to seek some type of shelter. There needs to be food. There needs to be water. How is he surviving? It's 7 days. This is not 7 hours. This is 7 days.
And Phil, the weather gets super, super hot during the day and probably really cold at night. So how is he? I don't buy the whole story. I find this guy like, dude, you expect us to believe this crap? I mean, you got to be kidding trying to sell this to the public. Is he trying to sell it to the public because the incompetence is exposing them? I mean, look at this guy. It's insane that he's trying to sell this.
The U.S. Marshals Service, the Leon County Sheriff's Department, also Montgomery County has got a mobile command post out here. So there's a lot of law enforcement agencies that are involved. It's a cooperative effort all the way around.
Why do you guys find it important to release those new images? And can you tell us anything specific about his appearance that people can look out for to decipher?
He's 6 feet tall, 190 pounds. These are the most recent photographs that we have.
And he's got a starched white uniform that he escaped in. And he's 6 foot and 190. We knew this day one. Stop.
Of him. The ones that we had sent out to him, the ones that we had sent out to you were his mugshot, his official TDCJ mugshot. He's changed not too much from what we originally sent out to you, but these are, folks can look at this on.
Icy Mike, I've been transported on Texas prison bus, numerous, almost impossible what Gonzalo pulled. Well, thank you for volunteering that. I don't know what you did to get you on a Texas prison bus, but thank you, Icy Mike.
On social media sites, if you put it on your newscast for us, we'd appreciate it. Just a little more recent, very bald head. So if he's probably pretty sunburned by now with all of this heat and temperature that we've had out here.
I see like a little tattoo right there. Do you know by
that may be a teardrop? That might be a shadow. I'm not too sure.
How could you not be sure about that?
Right, exactly.
How could you not be sure about a tattoo on his face? This guy's incompetent. I'm sorry.
Day 7 of the search. When is the last time that you guys have had a search that has continued out this long?
From what I'm being told, the last one would have been what is called the Texas 7. The Texas 7 went on for over a month. But
it was Frank and Jesse James was the last one. It was in 1895.
It was in a wide area. It stretched all across Texas because the inmates who had escaped from the Connolly unit down in Kennedy, Texas, who eventually were apprehended in Colorado Springs, that was a statewide search. As far as a concentrated search, this one right.
I don't know what happened to his sound right there.
I think he likes doing the press conferences in front of the DQ because he gets to have a shake every day. But
oh my God, it's like
something that's identifying a characteristic that's going to stick out, like a tattoo of a teardrop on his face. You don't know that? I'm really shocked at that. That's I was on the fence about this guy, but now I'm with you, Billy. He's
I mean, it's 7 days. You're repeating the same information you gave day one. He's very dangerous. He's wearing a white starch suit. I'm just like, dude, you got no more. And why do you think he's still in that same 5 mile perimeter? No information to that. I just find it ridiculous. Smitty, thank you for the $5 super chat. For reference, I'd love to see a pic of the inside of one of these buses, seats, doors, cages, etc. I don't have it, Smitty. I would love to post that. I think that we may be able to find one somewhere. I know Anthony Ganji, I think, was sitting inside one. And if I could find it, I would post it.
Yeah, Billy, listen, it's really not that hard, even though we don't have a picture, to kind of lay it out. There's like almost like a cage with a door in the front and a door in the back that, it's kind of like a mesh, but it's not something that you can push through. You need tools to get through it. And then there's a locking gate in the door that keeps the inmates secreted away from the driver of the vehicle. And then there's that compartment in the back. I'm not sure if there's a gate that accesses the prisoner area from the back, but in the front, there's a gate that they can access the prisoners. They put them in there, they close the gate, they lock it, and then the driver can drive safely. Now, just two people is strange in and of itself, because there should be the driver, someone else up front watching the prisoners, and then you have the rear person. They only had two corrections officers, it appears, no follow car, no cameras, which is also unusual. Just so many things. And I'm certain that they had to have some type of walkie-talkie communications with their base. And was their communication done to call for help, for assistance? Was that how they got law enforcement into the area so quickly? And one last point, I'm very happy that there are multiple agencies involved in this, because if the agency that guy represents is in charge of the investigation, someone's got to start looking at, which I'm sure they already are, the two guards that are involved in this. What help did he have from within inside the prison that he secreted this weapon? The injuries that were done to the guard seem to be, I don't know the exact location, but I think they said the hand and the chest and some type of a puncture wound. So, too much happened in that escape plot at the location when it all took place, that it just doesn't smell right to me. I think, Billy, you feel the same way. I think it's our instincts kicking in. Something's rotten in Denmark, like we said the other day.
We're going to go back to Denmark again. It's fugazi what happened in Denmark.
Yeah.
Anyway, later on in the broadcast, Ashley Banfield does a really good presentation, and she talks about all of the things that had happened on that bus that are not kosher. There's another New York word, folks, kosher, that shouldn't have happened. And we have to question why they did happen. And we're going to look at first, I'm going to go back to the minister of disinformation here. We'll have him finish his little presentation here. It's just, it's incredible that this guy wants us to believe this stuff.
Spotting that Escalating County Sheriff's Office mentioned in Robinson. Can you tell us anything about that?
That was a false alarm.
I know it's a false alarm, but do you have any thoughts in regards to community members, even across the state, trying to keep an eye out and help you guys?
We appreciate it very much. It tells us that our message is getting out, that people are keeping an eye out for him. If anybody sees anybody that looks like him, please call your local law enforcement agency. That's what that person did over there in McLennan County. We appreciate it very much. Even though it turned out to be a false alarm, it tells us that the public is listening to our message, that this is a very dangerous man that we want to get back in custody, and they're keeping their eyes and ears open for anything of a suspicious nature.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like Ricky Martin. So if I see Ricky Martin, I'm going to give you a call.
Sure, anybody that looks like him. And our message is getting across. And again,
here comes another noisy truck. This guy they must know he's on the air.
He needs to do this press conference from a better location.
Your assistance in the media, that you're letting the public know that this man needs to be apprehended, and you're getting the message out for us. We appreciate it very much.
As we've been here, I saw there was a little bit of movement. Is there any updates in regards to any new tips or leads that you guys may have?
Not right now. No. Excuse me just a minute. I'm going to step aside here for a second.
I think that's my wife, Martha. Let me just take this call. I know we need milk and bread, but
I kind of feel sorry for this guy. I really do. He's not up to the task. And, the information that he's putting out might be just what they're giving him. There might be a parallel investigation going on that we don't know about, that related to, who helped this guy, who supplied him with the weapon. There might be other stuff going on. And I don't think we've seen any real, video footage of the actual search that's going on. They might be saying that that's going on. It may not be actually happening. I don't know, but something, something is not jiving here for sure, Billy. And like
Well,
you
wait a
said,
minute. That's
not
my
coaching.
Uber. That's my Uber showing up with my Uber Eats.
I mean, he's doing a press conference in front of a DQ. It looks like he's in the parking lot. So unprofessional. The truck's going by. He's got to stop. I mean, what's their what's their municipal building somewhere in the town? Go in front of the municipal building, the courthouse, whatever it is, and do it there. I mean, just the whole thing smells unprofessional to me. But I don't want to knock the guy. He's probably doing what he's told to do, but just doesn't come off well at all.
Patty Banks, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. I'd love to see George Snuffleupagus interview him. I think you've been watching us a little bit. When we don't like something, we let him know, but we put a little humor into it. There's always room for humor.
Absolutely.
Frank Marsha, all inmates are photographed every time they come to prison, and those are full body photos. Tats are what is looked at closely.
Of course.
Tells a lot about gang membership. Tats tell a story about that inmate. No doubt, in Rikers Island years ago, I was the RIP sergeant in the 2-3 precinct in Spanish Harlem, El Barrio. I learned a little Spanish, and we worked with the Rikers Island people, the intelligence division there. They're investigators, because if we had an unusual tattoo involved in a robbery, we would go through their database, and sometimes we could identify the perp through an unusual tattoo. Very, very important. Exactly.
My wife's cousin, Charlie Acosta, was a correctional officer in Rikers and worked in that unit for many years. He just actually retired. He got injured during one of the riots in the jail, but he was working at a hider, and they keep a database of all tattoos, gang members. And like I said in the previous show, they have informants in every jail that they, get information from them. They give them extra privileges or whatever it is, phone calls or, food or whatever it is that they're looking for. And they stay in touch with the inmates to know what's going on inside the prison with regard to, let's say, prison breaks or violence that's about to erupt, narcotics coming into the prison, contraband, whatever it is. So, and I'm sure that took place in the prison that this Gonzalo Lopez was in. So again, they're probably on top of all of that. Shame on them if they're not. And listen, this guy did not escape from that prison bus without help. I'm pretty sure that they're searched before they leave. I know they're definitely, anytime an inmate leaves the facility, they're always strip searched when they come back in. And they do a pretty thorough, there could be something secreted in a cavity, but they do a pretty thorough search. I believe it's both in and out, definitely when they come back, but I'm not sure about when they're leaving. But I think they said it was reported that he was searched. However, no contraband was found on him. So, is it lax, on the part of the officers that searched him and didn't come up with this weapon that he secreted? Who knows?
Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. If you like our show from a police perspective, please go on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's free to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up, ring that bell. And something that's not free, if you want to support us on our Patreon, we have 3 different levels. Or if you want to become part of our YouTube family by becoming a channel member, we have 5 different levels to that. And we'd love you to join our channel and to be part of the Police Off the Cuff real crime stories family. It's these cases, Phil and I are taking it from an investigator's perspective, but also from a police perspective. And there's some things that are not adding up with this. That's really not adding up at all.
Known photos of the escaped convicted murderer. These new images show Lopez on the morning of his escape as he was being escorted to the prison bus he would later flee from. We'll speak to one of the leading officials on the investigation in a moment. Lopez, who's about 6 feet tall, weighs about 200 pounds, been on the run for nearly a week. The 46-year-old was heading to a medical appointment on board a bus with 15 other prisoners and 2 veteran prison officers. Prisoners on the bus were all cuffed, and metal caging separated them from the arm.
And they were all singing "The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round," during this little trip. So no one was paying any attention to little Gonzalo, and he was able to escape while they sang that song.
Armed driver and a second officer carrying a shotgun in the rear. Still, Lopez, who has ties to the Mexican mafia, managed to remove his restraints and stab the driver in the hand and chest. The driver was able to stop the bus. The fight between Lopez and the driver then moved outside, but Lopez was eventually able to get back on the bus, drive off, after a second officer leapt out of the back. The second officer, armed with a shotgun, quickly shot out the bus's rear tires after about a mile.
See, that I don't get. I don't get that. If you could shoot out the tires, why can't you shoot the perp? Why are you shooting tires? I mean, we were always trained on the NYPD. Don't ever shoot tires. That's like.
Also, Billy, the when he engages the driver of the vehicle, I'm sure he's armed. How come he didn't pull out his firearm and shoot him? You know, when he was getting stabbed, I just something don't make sense. I know the element of surprise. Maybe he was surprised by him, but they wind up. The bus gets stopped. They wind up outside the bus. There's this altercation. He punctures him with some type of an instrument twice. He doesn't fire any shots. That seems a little bit odd.
Lopez lost control and the vehicle veered into a drainage ditch on the side of the road. Lopez fled on foot through a cow pasture. That's the video we just showed you. The two officers caught up and fired at him, but it didn't appear he was hit. This all went down in Leon County, a rural area between Dallas and Houston. Authorities believe Lopez is still likely in that area. And earlier today, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice warned the public to stay on the lookout.
Remain vigilant,
remain
alert. Keep an eye out for anything that might be suspicious on your property. Please don't hesitate to contact the local law enforcement agency if you see or hear anything that is out of place on your property. Please, we want to get him in custody.
In 2004, Lopez was able to evade Texas police as they sought to arrest him, remained hidden with the help of the Mexican cartel. Lopez was able to hide in multiple cities, including Laredo and Rio Grande.
So he already has connections with the Mexican mafia, the Mexican drug cartel. So why are they not putting, I mean, they obviously know that. Maybe they're not reporting that. But isn't that important for everyone else to know that, you know, potentially he's out of the area because someone met him along the escape route and picked him up, threw him in a car, and he's in Mexico. He's in Guadalajara drinking a margarita right now, singing, ay, 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 you know? So
well, there's definitely something to look at if he's connected to a cartel or this Mexican mafia. Obviously, he could have had help from them. And, you know, there's just too many things that took place in this escape for us not to, like, look in that direction, you know?
You know, Kat, exactly. Why can't they find him if he's still in that area? Don't they have dogs? Yeah, they do. Don't they have heat-seeking helicopters that at nighttime could find a body out in a field? The infrared, you know, lasers they have. So yeah, Kat, I question that too. If he is in that area, why haven't they? And if it is a 5-mile square area, and they have all this personnel around there, what are we waiting for?
City, none of the 15 other prisoners aboard the bus escaped custody. Joining me now, once again, is Robert Hurst, spokesperson for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Thank you very much for joining us again. Really appreciate it. All right, so anything new, any tips you've gotten? Give us any kind of updates you got.
We continue to look for Gonzalo Lopez, and I want to reiterate again, this is the most recent photograph that we have of him. It was taken last Thursday at the Hughes unit in Gatesville as he was boarding that transport bus to come to Huntsville. To refresh your viewers again, we are in Leon County, Centerville, Texas, which is halfway between Dallas and Houston along I-45. The search area is west of Centerville out in western Leon County. We've got over 300 officers that continue to search this area looking for him. All the information that we have right now, Dan, tells us that he's still here. We do not believe that he has left this area. All the indications we have is that he's still back here. We are going to get him.
How reliable is the perimeter that you've been able to set up there? And when I say reliable, I mean, how confident can you be that he hasn't been able to pierce it or get out?
We set up that perimeter within a matter of about 30 to 40 minutes after he escaped last Thursday. He would not have been able to get very far on foot. And that's the last time we saw him was running into a wooded area on foot.
Thank you for watching.
All the federales say could have had him any day. Only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose. That's what it reminds me of, that tune. But
Yeah,
it's like
there's
amazing.
there's something
What
more
if he
to this
did get
case.
outside that perimeter? What if he did get outside that perimeter? And then,
Well,
but you,
listen, if they're not expanding the search outside of the perimeter and the investigation into other areas, or looking into this, shame on them. But I think that has to be going on. Maybe they just want to cover their bases. CYA, which stands for cover your ass. They want to complete that search. It just seems like it's not that vast of an area for 300 people with helicopters and dogs and all these other things, and the heat infrared seeking technology, that it would take 7 days to conduct that search, and not say confidently that that he's not in that area. So I don't know. It just seems a little odd to me. It's a large area, I guess. It's 5 square miles or whatever. But 7 days with all that manpower, I would think they could get it done once or twice quickly in 7 days.
I'm thinking, obviously from the outside looking in, that he did get outside that perimeter, and
Seems like it.
why they're still concentrating on that perimeter, unless they have information that we do not have. But my instincts say that he got outside that perimeter, and based on what we're seeing, the nature of the investigation, the fact that it looks like this was an inside job, I think I'm going to jump to that conclusion, that they should be looking more toward the investigation. Let's see who visited this guy in prison. Let's see who called him on the phone. Let's see who he called on the phone. Let's see who he hangs out with in prison. Is he hanging out with a whole group of guys? Let's bring all of them in. Let's talk to them. Listen, people think that prison inmates don't rat. They certainly do rat. If you can take off some of their time, give them a couple other candy bars, they'll rat. They'll tell what they know, and their price isn't that high.
Yeah, a cellmate might be interesting to interview in this case. Obviously, like you said, all of those different things. Who's visiting? What communication does he have while he's in jail? What gang is he in? Who's he hanging out with? They might be tight-lipped, but like you said, if there's something that can be put in front of them, whether it be further visits, more phone privileges, time off your sentence, whatever it may be, you could get people talking, and those intelligence agencies within the jails, I'm sure, are probably doing that right now.
Yeah, see who was giving them extra biscuits. Someone said in the chat. That's from the other case, that's for sure. Trevor Stewart, he's well gone. He's miles and miles away. He didn't just pick that spot to break out. It must have been picked weeks before. Must have been someone waiting for him. Hi, from Dublin, Ireland. Hey, how's Temple Bar? You like those bars in the Temple Bar area? I certainly do. I got to get back to Ireland one of these days.
Billy, you got a paisan there from
yeah, I got
Ireland.
a paisan. That's an Irish relation. Paisan. That's true. We use that word paisan. You guys are learning a lot of New York colloquialisms, a lot of New York slang. Paisan, fugazi, CYA. What else did we say?
Kosher. Rotten in Denmark.
Something's rotten in Denmark. But it's Dan 1. The financials of all personnel in that prison need to be looked into. If 300 are searching fields, certainly a few could be doing internal investigating. It's obvious there is an internal aspect. 100% there needs to be an internal aspect.
That's a good point, Billy, because in one of the I think it was El Chapo breakouts, they were giving these corrections officers $500,000, $1 million. They were giving large amounts of money. So yeah, that's another good point. See who's suddenly bought a new car or whatever.
Yeah, see, like in Goodfellas. Hey, I thought I told you not to buy that car.
Didn't I tell you not to? Didn't I talk to you?
That's right. See who bought a new Cadillac cash, and hey, what are you doing? What are you buying your wife a fur coat for? What is this? It's true. I'm going to play a little bit of Ashley Banfield. She always does an amazing job. I love Ashley Banfield. And she's asked a lot of the questions, the same questions that Lieutenant Pete says, forget about it. Forget about it. You're entering Brooklyn. Forget about it.
Yeah.
That's true. Let me share a little bit of Ashley Banfield. She's great. We're going to see what she has to say here. And she always has a good take on everything.
Let me remind you how this guy escaped, because that in itself tells you how dangerous and desperate he is. Number 1, he somehow had a shank in the bus, the prison bus. Number 2, he somehow got out of his cuffs on the prison bus. Number 3, he somehow used that shank to cut open a hole in the divider between him and the driver. And number 4, he somehow got through that hole with a deputy in the back who had
The prisoners on the bus pull out their shank, right?
a shotgun unnoticed, and then stabbed the driver in the chest and the hand. And from there, the ensuing fight allowed him to get that bus and crash it and run. Joining me now is Callahan Walsh, who, along with his dad, John Walsh, is co-host of Investigation Discovery's In Pursuit with John Walsh, streaming now on Discovery Plus. Callahan, this guy, just the escape alone is unbelievably frightening, just how desperate, dangerous, and ruthless he is. But then you go back to what he did. The reason he was serving 2 life terms, he kidnapped a guy, and when he didn't get the ransom he wanted, he stabbed him with a pickaxe and killed him. And then he shot at it.
Phil, that is the thing that gets everybody. Someone that can kill another human being utilizing a pickaxe. That just gives this guy instant prison cred, but a savage to the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
Sheriff's deputy fully intending to kill him. This is dangerous as they come because they're desperate like this. Anybody who gets in their way or anybody who can serve their purpose is expendable.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen what this guy's been capable of in the past. We've seen what he did just recently to escape. And we know he has no intentions of going back to prison. So anybody out there that gets in this guy's way, for sure, he will harm them to get away, to keep eluding law enforcement, and to stay on the run. I think it's a matter of time until he's caught. But this guy is a dangerous, dangerous individual until he is. And the public should be on the lookout.
So look, you and your dad do this for a living, and you've probably seen manhunts in Texas before. At this time of the year, I think the high today was like 96. How long can you really stay out there? He didn't have much, right? He had a white prison jumper. He had that shank, which I assume he probably still has, and nothing else. So how long do you think he could feasibly stay out there and survive?
Well, it's interesting because while the escape seems very premeditated, who knows if he had any idea where he was getting out at? And so did he have resources in the area? Did he know where he was going to make his escape and had anybody in that area waiting for him, providing him with those resources? Because if he didn't, it's going to be very difficult for him just to stay alive in that kind of heat. I mean, I know I'm in Florida right now and it's hot as heck here. And to be out there without any resources, without water, in this heat, it's very difficult for any individual, especially if he's on foot trying to make his escape. I know they're focusing in on this 5-mile radius area, but an individual can walk 3 to 4 miles per hour. So just a couple of hours, he's outside that area already if he is making that escape. But again, it'd be very difficult in that type of heat. Maybe that's why they're focusing on the area, because they know he just can't get that far if he's really expending that much energy.
Well, that was the other question I had. They've narrowed it down to a 5 square mile radius, but I mean, isn't it possible he commandeered a car and he's got someone hostage and he used that car, maybe killed that person, or maybe stole a car that someone hasn't noticed yet and got a lot farther away than this image?
It's very possible, and we see that all the time in these type of escapes. They're trying to put as much distance between them and where they made that escape as possible, and getting their hands on a vehicle is the number one way to do that. And again, this guy is dangerous as all, and he will hurt and harm somebody to get into that vehicle. So it's all very likely if he's not in that 5-mile radius, it's because he's carjacked or he's been able to steal a car. So the reason they're focusing on that 5-mile radius area is really interesting to me. Either they have some insider knowledge that they know this guy is right there within that 5 miles. But if that's the case, why haven't they caught him yet? Why is it still taking?
That's what I.
Phil, all of these questions are great questions, and the same questions that we're asking. It's 7 days now. If he's in this 5-mile perimeter and they have in excess of 300 people, horses, dogs, helicopters, I don't know if they have drones, but they're searching. They have the community. Why haven't they found him if they're so confident that he's in this zone?
Yeah, something is they've concentrated the search into that 5-mile area, and maybe there was some signs that they believe that he was in that area. That's the only thing I could think of why they would take 100-mile square area and make it down to 5 miles. They must have had signs, or there must have been some evidence indicating that he was in that area. Whether he's still in the area, I think it's doubtful at this point, unless he's DOA. That's the only thing I could think of, because I mean, how can he last? I mean, the temperatures, I checked the temperatures in that area, 95 to 100 degrees every day in the last couple of days. So, I mean, that's really, really warm, So to be out without shelter in that kind of heat, I don't know.
Forget about it.
Sense to me.
Susie Dunn, my family has lived in Marquez at intersection of 79 and 7. There's a lot of homes that are vacation homes and hunting cabins. So are you suggesting, Susie, that he broke into an empty home and perhaps maybe there's food in the home and he's just laying low until the heat, the heat by the heat, I mean the search winds down? That's possible. That's a possibility. But to think he's just laying low in the field with 95-degree temperatures in the day and freezing temperatures at night, I don't think you could really do that,
Yeah, temperature is extremely hot in that area. I just indicated that. Yeah, the temperatures were 98, 100, very high. So if he's out in that field, they talked about sunburn, the public information officer there, but I don't know, just a lot of unanswered questions, so to speak.
Aaron, guys, I'm here 2 hours local, even though Bit's been 98, 99, 100. It's not been humid as the first few days of the escape. It's tolerable now if he wasn't in on the move he is now. Look, I mean, living outside, no matter what the temperature, you're exposed to the elements, insects, all kinds of animals preying on your body if you don't have a tent or a sleeping bag or something to keep you away from the elements. So I don't buy that he's living out in the elements. He is either inside or someone picked him up and got him the hell out of there.
Yeah, it's one of two things. Either somebody assisted him. Ashley Banfield brought up a good point. He could have commandeered a vehicle from someone. Or now that other comment that we had in the chat, that there's cabins, vacation homes that may not be occupied. It's going to be one of those three things. It's either going to be someone assisted him and got him in a vehicle and got him out of there. He could have commandeered a vehicle and gotten out of there, or he's still in the area laying low. Maybe the home was occupied and he's holding people hostage. Anything's possible. But I think it's one of those three things. Or the fourth is obviously if he succumbed to the elements, animal life, whatever it is.
93 plus rattlers, boar. Nah, he isn't doing that. Those wild boars, those pigs.
Very
oh my God, those things are scary. I wouldn't want to be in the field with them. When I went into the Maikahatchee Preserve, I kept wondering if one of those big boars was going to come charging at me out from behind one of those trees. And I wasn't strapped down in Florida. I kept saying that when I was recording it. I was like, oh, I wish I had my 9 with me. I don't got anything. I have this stupid cell phone going live. You guys could call in and say, hey, Bill's a wild boar got Bill in the Maikahatchee Preserve.
Well, not only that, I don't know that they will attack a human, so to speak. There's the snakes, there's many other, like you said, insects, animals that would be in the area that may attack. There could be coyotes, or there could be fox, any type of animal that's that lives in that area is going to be a danger to someone like him, just roaming around in the fields there. I doubt that's the case.
No, I'm going to get back to Ashley Banfield right now, but I think he got out of the area. I really do. I mean, I think that he's still there is a little bit crazy.
Okay. And P.S. they've got tracking dogs, horseback. They've got heat-seeking technology. They're using 300 different people from, I think it's the Rangers, the U.S. Marshals, the Sheriff's Office, the local police, from just about every division that does hunt, people. They're not lacking here in resources. And with a 5-mile radius, I would think you could have done one long line and walked it, in a line. So I guess my concern is who's in this 5-mile radius. What people might live in this 5-mile radius? From your knowledge of your business, do the police go to those people and provide them with a guard, provide them with security?
Well, unfortunately, there just aren't enough resources to do that, and I wish there was. Luckily, Texas, and I say luckily can be taken this way or that way. But there it is a state that's pretty easy to get yourself a firearm, and so protection comes somewhat easily towards the public there. But the fact that this guy is in that area, anybody that lives in and around those neighborhoods should be on the highest alert, because this guy will do anything that he can to continue to stay out on the run. This guy's not going back to prison. And so, the public there really has to stay on guard. And it'd be great if there was a law enforcement officer at every single one of those houses, but unfortunately, there's just not enough of them.
One of the law enforcement officers told me they're going to wait him out because he's done it before. In that other instance where he killed his hostage with a pickaxe because he didn't get the ransom and shot at a sheriff's deputy, he was also on the run, and they waited him out then and finally got him. And they say that they can do the same thing now, given the conditions, given the heat, given, what's in those woods. They think they can wait him out and catch him. In the meantime, I want to play a tape for you that was shot by a young man named Braxton, who literally caught the immediate aftermath of the crash and Lopez escaping. Take a look at this.
Yo, we saw the inmate.
Oh my God.
What the heck?
Does he have a gun?
Weapon?
Oh crap.
Oh.
I wonder if the guy's okay.
Let's roll up the windows. That's an escaped inmate.
He's in the woods.
Wait, I want to be on the news.
Yes.
It's like they're instructing the guards where he is. It doesn't seem like they're chasing him.
Braxton is on the news right now, and everybody else who's using this clip of his. Pretty remarkable that he was able to capture that. I still can't believe I'm looking at it, but I'm not seeing a phalanx of officers running after him with dogs or guns. And here's the other thing people might not understand, because it's very political oftentimes. Legally, you can shoot a man like that in the back. And here's why. It's called a fleeing felon law. And that is that he has a shank, which is a deadly weapon, and he is fleeing into the public and poses a reasonable threat to others. I think we can all agree that that man is desperate. He has killed before, and that man now possesses the ability to kill someone else. And that's why you can shoot someone like that in the back legally. Maybe they didn't because of the politics that surrounds that, but I was just shocked to see.
Yeah, till you do it, and then they say, "Who told you to do that, officer?"
Ashley's putting on her legal hat.
And you shoot the guy dead, and they say, "Well, you shot him in the back. Who told you to do that, partner?"
That video almost seems like he was hiding and then, took off, because when they spotted the person in white, obviously the inmate fleeing into the woods, then they drove past. I'm wondering if that's all in the same moment, because it looked like there was a police car had responded. So he may have been hiding in a short distance from there and then took off into the woods. That's what it looked like to me anyway.
Run away in the view of that kid and in the view of those officers. Quick question. What is the costly mistake that a lot of these guys make, Callahan? I know you've seen them all, thousands of them.
I love when they give these TV people credit for capturing these desperados from behind the lights of their TV camera. I know you've caught thousands of desperados from your seat behind the camera,
Shades of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. Everyone, whenever these cases happen and people bring up Dog the Bounty Hunter, I'm like, stop. Don't bring him up to me. The guy's a cartoon character. You guys watch him and you think he's real. He's not real. It's not a real thing.
What do they do wrong that gets them caught?
I think they underestimate the power of the public. The eyes and ears of the public are everywhere. And we harness the power of the public on our show. And you're doing that right now, profiling this guy as well. I think they think, well, maybe if law enforcement and that dies down, then people are going to forget about this and I can kind of start making, coming up for air again. But, if we stay vigilant, if we keep putting this guy's picture out there and keep covering this case, it's just a matter of time before somebody spots him. In this case, that little boy spotted him. But and in the last case we saw with the whites that got away, it was a member of the public as well, giving us that great tip. Law enforcement can't be everywhere. The public is that force multiplier. It's the eyes and ears, the boots on the ground, everywhere law enforcement can't be. So I think this guy will slip up. He'll he'll pop his head up and somebody will spot him and he'll be captured.
And there's $50,000 in it for you if you're the one who can do it. Callahan, you and your dad do great work. Thank you for being on tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ashley. It was great to see you.
Thank you for watching. Click the red.
Billy, I just want to make a quick point.
Go ahead.
The bus had taken off from the location where the altercation took place, and then he went into a ditch, I guess, and then he went into the woods. So there was still 14 other prisoners on that bus. So that radio car that looked like it got there, they may have wanted to secure those prisoners there. Don't forget, even though they're shackled, they could still slip under the gate and maybe make it into the woods as well. So that may be the reason that they didn't start chasing after that prisoner. They wanted to, assess the situation. You have 14 other prisoners on that bus. They didn't want any more than the one that escaped to continue to escape. So that might be why, and don't forget, it's chaotic at the beginning. They responded to a call of a prisoner break, a prisoner escape. So I think that may be why, if they had, from where their location was too, they may not have been able to see him running across the woods. And it didn't look like those people stopped and told him, hey, we just saw the guy running across the field there. So it's possible they didn't even see him. And like I said, they wanted to contain the other 14 inmates.
Yeah, no, I understand all of that. I just find it a little strange, the way the whole thing happened, and the fact that if he could shoot the tires out of the bus, why couldn't he have gotten close enough to shoot the inmate? That doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. CB Viao, is he still wearing inmate clothing? Of the last we've heard, he's wearing Calvin Klein jeans, and no, I don't know. I don't know what he's wearing. He probably, if he could steal some clothing and get out of those prison garbs, I'm sure that he would want to do that immediately. But we don't know. They haven't seen him since the minute and the date that he escaped.
In 2022, the best thing for him to do is to throw on a dress and a wig and say he identifies as a woman, and he'll probably go unnoticed.
Yeah, I mean, or any kind of disguise. I'm sure he wants to get out of it. Cat Lover 33, thank you for becoming a member of our YouTube family. I totally agree. Seems stupid to me, as if they knew he was going to take the bus. Wouldn't be my first thought. But, well, look, yeah, I mean, how he took the bus is beyond me too. Like, how did he take the bus? How did he overpower the driver and take the bus with the guy in the back with the shotgun? It's baffling to me. I do not get it. I really do not get it.
It just doesn't make sense that there's the altercation. So if the guy in the back of the bus doesn't get off the bus right away, but he gets off the bus as the guy is taking control of the bus, as Lopez is taking control of the bus, and he shoots at the tires. So there's just, I don't know, it don't seem logical to me. There's just something happening, and there's a few seconds when that altercation takes place. He didn't exit the bus and with the shotgun and try to take control of the situation. Doesn't seem likely to me.
No, tax cut. He didn't take the bus. They let him have it.
Very possible.
That's what it seems like. What river, sir? He's in the woods, and I'm sure changed clothing. I'm afraid he's taking a house over. That's scary. That very well could happen, and that we wouldn't know about till they find either someone was murdered or they find him in someone's house. No, you're right. We don't know that. Robert Clark, the officer with the shotgun, might not have had a clean shot. Others might have been in the way. It was planned. I think you're right, Mr. Clark. Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. If you're not subscribed to us, go on our YouTube. It's for free. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Ring that bell. Ring my bell. Ring my bell. And then, if you want to support us, we have a Patreon with 3 different levels. And we also have a YouTube family memberships, 5 different levels. You see the folks with the green font. They're part of our Police Off the Cuff members of our channel. Yeah, I mean, this is baffling. Although I guess as the public, we expect an immediate apprehension. And look, Casey White and Vicky White took 11 days to capture them, right? Well, we knew they had a car or / cars. So, and they were able to go into a hotel, stay at one of those high level Hotel 41s or whatever it was. We said it was a Motel 6.
They left the
but
light on.
they left the light, but it turned out to be a Motel 41, which is $35 a night more. You know,
Plus, they had a lot of cash too, so that's why I think their escape and their being on the lam was facilitated so well. Of course, there was a lot of money there to throw around. They paid that homeless guy to rent the room for them and stuff, so that's probably why it took as long as it did with that case. But you know, we don't know all the facts of what's going on behind the scenes, but these are just obvious things that jump out to us. The altercation, the secretion of the weapon, the cutting through the gate. I mean, that's all very, very, very just extreme, to have taken place. And then he escapes into the woods. Just the search. There's a lot of things here that just aren't making sense to you and I, Bill. So I'm sure we're going to find out at the end of the day, the end of the investigation, when this guy is either found or, whatever is revealed from the investigation. I'm sure we'll find out about it, but I don't think our instincts are off on this one.
I don't think so either. Andres Rangel, if he was a known Mexican mafia member, he was supposed to be even in a higher level of being shackled. Good point. And he wasn't. Obviously we know he got away, right? Lopez must be dead somewhere or sitting at one of the mafia house watching all this and laughing. Very possible. Very, very possible. Look, we're following this. And, someone in the chat said, oh, you're not telling us anything we don't know. Well, you know something? There's very little new information about this. Just that this is day number 7. He's still out there. We're reporting what they tell us about the search. I wish I had smoking gun information to give you, but I'm not going to make it up. We're reporting the information that is out there. Bill?
Yes. Well, the information that's out there is kind of vague based on what they're saying. They're not giving too much information. So that tells me maybe there's a little bit more knowledge than they're putting out, which is okay, I guess. But there's just way too many things going on in this case that I think the red flags are all over the place that they're going to be looking into. And I'm sure there's going to be changes in the way that prisoners are handled in that particular jail based on this latest escape.
Mudcat, in 1997, escapee from private transport company held my brother's neighbor hostage for 2 days. He changed clothes, appearance, shaved hair. Scary. I hope people are checking on their loved ones. Good point. I hope so too. I mean, this guy's a desperado, as we said before. He will do anything to stay free, to stay out there, and to get away and to remain out there. But
the message is getting out there, Billy, because tips are coming in. The public information officer said there was a tip. It turned out to be a false alarm. He called it a false alarm. To me, that's a tip that just didn't pan out. Whatever it is, the word is out there, and I'm sure that people are aware of it in that area, double checking on, relatives or friends, and the areas that they're searching. If there's a cabin that's unoccupied, I'm sure they're doing an extensive search. And even the ones that are occupied, you're going to go in, you're going to make sure that people aren't being held hostage, do an extensive search, check all areas that a person can hide in. And I guess when they're satisfied that that 5-mile area is clear, then they will call off the search and say that, announce on through the media that, this guy's not in the area and to be on the lookout for him. And very possibly he could be, if he's out of the area, he could be back in Mexico. Who knows? But we'll find out.
Let's take a quick commercial break here.
Joe Murray, attorney at law. Have you found yourself in a jam? Are you in need of legal counsel in the New York area? Do you need a victim's advocate? Joe Murray is your man. He's not only an experienced trial attorney, he's also a retired 15-year member of the NYPD. He literally knows both sides of the fence. His website is jmurray-law.com. His telephone number is 646-838-1702. You can email Joe at jmurray-law.com. Looking for a vacation oasis? The Comfort Inn Oceanside in sunny Deerfield Beach, Florida has you covered. Take a dip in the outdoor heated pool with a water slide for the kids, have a cocktail poolside, or relax in the Oasis Courtyard Lounge. Just a short walk to the best restaurants and the Deerfield Beach International Fishing Pier. Soak up the sun, swim in the pristine blue ocean, or stroll along the famous beach. Maybe enjoy a sunset from a beachside restaurant. Guests enjoy a complimentary breakfast and fresh brewed coffee 24/7. If you mention police off the cuff at booking, you'll receive a 20% discount. That's right, a 20% discount at booking. So book your stay today by calling 954-428-0650.
John Beatty Law, www.jbeattylaw.com. John Beatty is a renowned personal injury attorney. He's also retired as a decorated NYPD sergeant. John comes from a proud NYPD and FDNY family. He was an active sergeant in Brooklyn North and supervised in the legal bureau. John is a proud member of the Honor Legion and the Blue Knights. John Beatty litigates across the country for seriously injured victims and has helped recover over $200 million for grieving families. Call John now for a free consultation. John Beatty, 917-797-9520. So, folks, we're going to stay on this case for as long as he's out there. And, we're expecting, like you are, any day or that we get some new information that he was caught, that he's been spotted, or he's in Mexico. We're expecting something positive. But so far, there hasn't been anything that's new, that's giving us any new information on this case. And as I said, there's that whole angle with the Mexican mafia. Could he have had help outside getting away? Is he in Mexico? Did he escape into Mexico? So we hope that the intelligence component of this case is as good or better than the search component, and the investigative component also has to be hitting on all cylinders.
Let's face it, if he planned this escape, which he obviously did, he took control of the bus. Where was he going to drive to? Was there a pre-planned location that he was going to go to that, he could then meet up with his accomplices and get away? The tires were shot out. Let's say that the corrections officers are completely innocent. He shoots out the tires. That stymied his plan somewhat, and he wasn't able to drive very far. And then he got into the woods. Did he wind up meeting up with whoever these accomplices could be? But if he's still in the area, let's say we're going to go with the fact that they're saying he's still in that 5-mile radius. If he's still in the area, I think the choices are going to be this: either he's in the area and he is either dead from the elements or animal interaction, he's holed up in a location that was either vacant, or he's holding people hostage, or he managed to escape through means of commandeering a vehicle or getting access to a vehicle or having help. So those are the scenarios that I see here. I don't think there's many other choices that could be. He wasn't beamed up by Scotty in the Star Trek. He didn't vanish into thin air. So he's either out of the area, or if he's still in the area, I think those are the possibilities that exist, that he could be dead, he could be holed up, he could be holding people hostage.
Let's play a little bit of
It's
this.
been in the U.S. and it's a U.S.-born gang, but with strong ties to Mexican cartels or Mexican criminal organizations. The Mexican mafia has been behind links with cartels like Los Zetas, now disappeared, and Cartel del Golfo, now operating in the area of Laredo and Nuevo Laredo, Texas.
How dangerous are they?
Well, they are completely ruthless. We're talking about maybe the most dangerous cartel in Mexico right now. They are responsible for many killings. They're responsible even for attacking U.S. federal officers in the Mexican side of the border. They are responsible as well. I don't know if you recall, the 72 migrants were killed in Mexico, northern Mexico. That's what we're dealing here with that specifically criminal organization.
So this inmate escaped in Centerville, which is between Dallas and Houston. How prevalent is this Mexican mafia in that area of Texas?
It's really strong, but I think if Gonzalo is trying to go south, I think he'll be looking at a bigger protection if this part of Mexican mafia, because Mexican mafia has a lot of presence in areas like Laredo, El Paso, all that border area of Texas and Mexico. So let's say if he tries to run towards Mexico, it will be really hard to actually get him because I'm pretty sure that he has ties to some of the criminal organizations that are going to actually protect him once he gets to the border.
So do you think that he's still in that area, or do you think he's long gone?
What I will say, I'm pretty sure that he's gone from the area and he's heading south. I mean, that's the usual in these cases. When inmates that manage to escape, they immediately go south. And in this particular case, him being part of a Mexican mafia gang with ties to the Mexican criminal organizations, I wouldn't really be surprised if he is trying to get across the border into Mexico.
What more can you tell us, Luis, about this 2004 incident where Lopez ran away from police and he stayed hidden with the help of some cartels? Was that the same cartel that we're talking about now?
Yes, that's the same cartel. It was originally reported as La Maña, but La Maña is just a way to say mafia or cartel in that specific region of Mexico, which is Nuevo Laredo, Monterrey, Nuevo León area. So he was reported as being part of La Maña, but that's how they say cartel. But his ties were with Los Zetas. He was pretty active before 2005. And in those years, Los Zetas were ruling basically the whole states of Nuevo León and places like Tamaulipas as well, and specifically the border with the U.S. Because that's where they operated getting drugs across.
What more can you tell us about the situation at the border and how they would prepare for him to try and cross? Because right now we're hearing they're zeroing in on sort of a 10 square mile radius, but they have to be prepared that he may try to get into Mexico.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think it's going to be crucial to have vigilance on southbound, going south, going into Mexico, because I don't know if he's going to hide for a while. He's going to hide for maybe days so he can advance slowly into Mexico, because I will say that will be his options, his first options. He's escaping life, and I'm guessing he's not going to want to stay in the U.S., especially with what he did now. So the most obvious is that he's going to go and look for protection with a criminal organization in Mexico.
Well, after his escape, he was added to the state's most wanted list. He is a dangerous fugitive with a very, very dangerous and violent past. Share with people at home what he's done that has people so worried that he is out there on the loose.
Well, he was part of one of the most ruthless organizations. He's responsible for killings, and especially I think Gonzalo is specifically dangerous because he's looking at. We're looking at someone who was already convicted for life, So he's not really. He doesn't have any more to lose. Like basically that's he's killed before, he's kidnapped before. He was actually convicted for murder for $4,000 drug debt in 2005, if I'm not mistaken, of a woman actually. So we're talking about a pretty violent person, well connected into the criminal world, and with a long career of being a criminal.
Right. He is serving 2 life sentences in 2006 for capital murder, attempted capital murder. A lot of people in the area, especially around Centerville, pretty nervous tonight with this guy on the loose. There's a lot of manpower. We're talking about police officers on horseback, canines, and even investigators in the air using thermo imaging to try and find him. Talk to us about the latest on the search and what you're hearing from your sources on where they're at. Anything he's left behind in terms of evidence or a trail?
I'm not really, I haven't really heard if he left any evidence or something. I know that the search for him is really wide and it's very focused, but I will say that it's not going to take long before authorities are now looking into the Mexican border. Because I mean, if he managed to actually hurt and try to kill an officer, like he's capable of doing right. Anything and everything.
They're not taking any chances. Luis, hey, we appreciate you giving us an update tonight on this situation.
So, folks, so you get a pretty good background on him, on Gonzalo. And, Kay Epperson, I love you guys, but I think you're being too hard and mean on this guy. I don't think we are. I think that we're putting it out there the way we see it. If we didn't do that, we'd be phonies. They probably have teams, each one investigating something. They probably don't want to let info get out what they are finding. You're right, but you know something? There's a desperado out there, right? That'll kill members of the public. You can't be withholding information because you want to save it because you're afraid that he may be listening. You got to protect the public. That's the number one thing. And Phil and I, to use some New York words, we find this to be fugazi. Some of this is very fugazi, and we don't like what we're finding in this investigation. And some of it seems Keystone Cops like. And when we see something like that, we would be remiss in our duties as broadcasters and former police and seeing things from a police perspective, not to give our expertise on it. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, my 2 cents is that I concur with that there's obviously some things that are questionable here. As far as the public information officer, maybe we're being a little too hard on him. He's doing his job, but he didn't come across very professional, specifically when he said that thing about the mark on his eye. It doesn't look like a tattoo to me when I look at the pictures. It looks like some type of darkness in his skin or whatever, but he should have known that ahead of time when that reporter asked him that question. All right, he made a flub there, but it sounds to me like they seem fairly certain. There's a lot of law enforcement officers in this search for this guy, and I think that they're fairly certain that he's in that area. There's got to be reason for that. I don't think that they're all just, with their thumb up there, what. They're trying to do the best they can do. And again, there may be things going on that we're not privileged to, that they're not putting out in the public with regard to, how he was able to facilitate this escape.
Yeah, no, look, I totally agree with you. Folks, we don't pussyfoot around. And when we see something, we say it, and people either like us or they don't like us. They subscribe, they unsubscribe, but we are who we are. And I'm not going to not say something because I'm afraid to hurt someone's feelings in the chat. I see it one way, and I see it through 27 years of law enforcement experience. And I see it that way, and I'm going to report on it that way.
And we're putting ourselves in the position as if we were part of the investigation, part of the search, that, these are the questions that we would be asking if we were part of that team. And we're not basing it on, 2 weeks out of the police academy. We have almost 50 years of experience between us, and we're just using our instincts and we're using our professional opinions to make these statements. And listen, we're not 100%. We could be wrong about the things that we've said, but it doesn't seem likely. I think there's a lot of, when we make a statement, we kind of back it up with the reasons why we're saying what we're saying. So
exact. Gaming Chamber Plus. I like that name. Yeah. Do you think this guy walks around with the rules of engagement handbook before he attempts to hurt somebody? Come on. No, this guy is a desperado. We said that before.
Absolutely.
This guy will do anything he has to do to stay out there. Techni girl, there should have been more than 2 guards. Yes, you're right. You're right. There should have been. Steve Jobs' adopted girlfriend. It's mandatory for prisoners' tattoos to be photographed and registered, so he's full of garbage. Native Texan, 2.5 hours away. Steve Jobs' girlfriend, you got a few mil you can lend us?
Yeah.
So Phil, I think, I'm going to give you last words. I think we went over an hour and 12 minutes. I didn't think we'd go that long, but this is an interesting case. Even though there's no new smoking gun information, there's information out there that's necessary to report on.
Absolutely. My final words are going to be this. I think we hit all of the particular points on this case, and we're going to find out. Hopefully he's going to be found soon. But I wanted to make mention of something. The other day we were talking about hero retired police officer Aaron Saunter in Buffalo and the shooting that occurred in Buffalo. Then there was the other shooting that occurred in California, and there was another hero, and somebody put it in the comments that we should mention his name, and I agree with that. His name was Dr. John Chan. Dr. John Chan was one of the people that subdued the shooter in that California shooting. He hit the guy with a chair. He was subsequently shot and killed, but his actions probably saved a lot of other people. So just wanted to bring that up. We can't mention enough of heroes. We talked about Aaron Saunter, retired police officer in Buffalo, Dr. John Chan. God bless them. God bless their souls. And, condolences to all the people that lost loved ones over the weekend in both of those mass shootings.
Yeah, Phil, tomorrow I'm going to the 3-2 precinct in Manhattan on 135th Street. And at 12 noon, they're having a plaque ceremony for Rivera and Mora, who were 2 officers that lost their lives in the line of duty this year. And they're going to have a ceremony there. And if you ever walked into the 3-2 precinct, you you walk through the door and they have these big gold doors, and you walk through the door and to the left is a memorial. And I think the 3-2 precinct, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, has the most officers lost in the line of duty of any precinct in New York City. And unfortunately, 2 more names are being added to that list. So tomorrow at 12 noon, I'm going to be at that ceremony. I feel privileged to have been invited.
Absolutely, Billy. I'm going to try and make it myself. I'll see what my schedule looks like, but that's terrible that they're adding 2 more names. God bless those 2 officers, Morin and Rivera, and God bless their families. And let's hope we don't lose another law enforcement officer, and keep them safe. And God bless them all the first responders.
For sure, folks. This Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to stay with this story and other law enforcement stories that we deem important enough to bring to you. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, and stay safe out there.
Stay safe, everyone.
One episode just ain't enough.